Okay, so a bit of a new or a strange video for me. This is a little bit out of my area of expertise, but I Demetrio set me up with an AIM solo 2, which means I got data from my last track day or the last round 2 at NEMRR, and I've been playing around with what the data looks like in Race Studio 3, and then I had Demetrio also send me one of his laps. So you can see here he's in green because he's faster than me at 125.5, and I'm in red because I'm slow in the top left here, and I did a 129.5. So this is my best total lap. Although on the split times report, my sort of best theoretical for this session was a 129, and for the other one it was like a 127. So there's some improvements I know I can make. I don't really know this. I've never used this software before. I sort of set it up. It took me maybe an hour of messing around with it, and we have all this info, and I had to configure some stuff. But basically, we have my GPS speed at the top. The second one is the throttle percent for both of us. Third one is just lean angles, and lastly is the time compare. So everywhere there's like a little green line here that's an axis. That's my time, right? Everywhere the red line is above the green line is where, so like right here is where, how does that work? That means I am losing time. How does it work at the end here? I'm getting confused. Where the red line is below is where I'm gaining, and where the red line is above is where he's pulling away from me. Right now it's set to distance, which the x-axis is set to distance right here, which means we are always looking at the same point on the track. So if you look at the track map on the right, I'm the red dot, he's the green dot, and you can see as I drag the time along, right, you can see the dots always look next to each other, even though he's actually running 5 seconds quicker than me, 4 seconds quicker than me. And as you run through, you can see it. And then if you change this button here to the time view, right, now the time compare goes away because it's just doing a time view. We have GPS speed, throttle, and the gyro, the lean angle. You can see as we go through on a time view, instead of that line at the bottom, it's just reflected in the map now. So the red dot pulling ahead here means that I was pulling ahead slightly, and then the green dot coming back, right? So over the course of the lap, you can see how much time he gains on me coming into turn 3 here. And by the time we're getting out of 3, he's, like, I'm looking at this map here, right? He's significantly farther ahead. Then we go down into 6, and he pulls even farther ahead. Come into 9, about the same. The gap gets wider out of 10 here. Look at the green dot. And then coming through this last sector, it's night and day. And then he's off halfway down the home straight before I'm out of that corner. And there, I finish here. So kind of a cool view. I've been enjoying toggling between these. So you can see, like, on the distance view, we get this time compare back, and you can see that, okay, so around this section of the track, coming into turn 1, I was pulling ahead, and the time compare shows the delta. And then going into 3, he gets away from, he pulls away massively. He's faster. Coming into this last section and down in the bowl, he's fast. I actually, coming out of the bowl, we were kind of neck and neck. I don't really know how to think about this. I think perhaps I was quicker theoretically. However, his line is giving him a better drive out. So it's like oscillating because I'm covering the ground more quickly through this section, but then he's going faster. And if you look up here, you can see that's correct. GPS speed, green line. So I'm going a shorter way around, but he's getting more speed because his line is straighter. And then by the time it gets straightened out, he's much quicker here. And so, like, all plays in his favor. So he's gaining time on me, and all through here down into 9. Coming into 9 on the entrance again, I make up some time a little bit, but then I'm losing it here. And if you look, my line is a little closer to the right-hand side of the track, which is going to be the inside of turn 10, which means my turn here is, which means I have to basically, how to describe it, he gets a straighter curve coming out of 10, which means he immediately, as soon as he's past the apex, look how much time he's gaining on me. And compare, if we come to the throttle plot, right, like, look at where his green throttle, he's able to roll his throttle on right here, and I'm not able to roll the throttle on until here, which doesn't seem like much. But not only is that the case, he's rolling it on faster, more aggressively, and obviously I'm not even calling the fact that he goes to 100% throttle and I get stuck at 50% because I'm not even pointing the right direction. Then we come through here, and the lock section is just absolutely tragic. I'm like, absolutely, it's just horrific. And you can see that because of the speed delta, I'm slower than him going into this section right up here, I'm slower, and then I massively overslow, right? Like if we look here, I'm doing 25. I think I get down to even lower than 25 miles an hour at one point. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I get stuck right here at 29, and he's doing 35. So he's going much faster than me. And then he comes out of the corner, blah, 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 drives harder and quicker. Anyway, so kind of a cool view. I've made these sections based on how I think about the track. I'm sure there's like people who've been doing this for 10 years and have actual much better ways to think about the track. But I have this like enter turn one section in my mind where you come down the first portion of the track, down the home straight, and then you're entering turn one. Then I have this little connector portion of the track, which is kind of a different section in my mind. Then I have, I'm just reading these titles I made. Then I have turn 2 to deep 3, which is like both the drive out of 2 all the way to the apex of 3, which I'm viewing as one section because, as you can see from some of my writing, the quality of the drive you get also is impacting my entry to 3. So I wanted to kind of link them together as one turn. Then we have this little high side hill area, which I think of as a little separate to the bowl entry. Then we have the bowl entry and the bowl exit. Then I just labeled this whole section as kind of downhill going into 9 and out of 10. And then the final sector is, maybe I could have split this up more, but I just think of it as, I'm so slow the whole way and I just think of it as one sector. Okay, so things that I'm thinking, things that I've learned just from looking at this, I think, which view to have it on? Let's have it on the distant view first. I have some easy gains to make down to like at least a second of gains, like hypothetically running my perfect, just taking all my sessions and putting together, I have like a 28 something. And that's just consistency and with how I'm writing. But what I've learned is a few things. One, I don't use the throttle, right? Throttle percentage here. So you can see, and obviously I have an auto blipper, so some of these little spikes are just shifting down. You can see I go to 100% throttle. Well, I go to 90% throttle on the home straight. 92% according to this. I had to do a little bit of math to get this. My ECU only reads the throttle in degrees, but I think this is correct. We went and read it out. There's a chance this actually should be like 98%, but I think the math I did is correct. Basically, I go to 95% throttle on the home straight right here, and Demetrio is at 100% throttle from his exit out of 12 all the way until halfway down the home straight. He's also at 100% coming out of 10. He's also at 100% coming out of the bowl briefly, and he's also at 100% coming out of 2. And I'm comparatively in 2, I get stuck at 70% coming up the hill. I'm actually pretty similar to him. Coming out of the bowl, I'm 40% throttle, and coming out of 10, I am 50% throttle. And that is interesting because there are a lot of reasons for this, I think, right? Like first, if we start with, let's just go through the track, right? So starting with the home straight, okay, this is all great. In this connector area, you can see he's using much more than me, and I'm very gentle on the throttle, right? So we can double click on this and just look at the connector. This is the first area we have a big difference in throttle. So here is he goes to 80% throttle just coming out of this turn, right? Again, he's the green dot. We're looking right here. Make this a bit smaller. Coming out of that first bit, he's at 80%, and I'm at, let's see, what is this? This is 0% to 15%. But, look at the lines in the direction is kind of what's jumping out at me here is, so I am actually going faster than him coming into the corner, right? If you look at GPS speed, but this speed is super flat. Like, look how flat my red line is. I'm doing, what is this, 47 miles an hour, 46, 45, 46, 45, drop to 40. And then I'm back at, I'm just reading this red, I'm 47. I'm just basically do a constant speed through this whole section. Whereas he comes in, he's slower here, right at the start, gets himself pointed, whereas I have not yet finished the turn. Like my bike is still pointing to the grass here, whereas his is actually able to point to the track, to the apex. So he's got a better line, or at least he's completed the turn. He's slowed more to get pointed more, which then lets him roll on the throttle. I'm not pointing the right way, so of course I can't roll on the throttle. So even though I'm carrying more speed, I have to wait for my bike to turn. Now my bike's starting to turn a little bit, but if anything, I'm not exactly still pointing the right direction when I'm at 8% throttle here. And you can see on the gyro, he's slowed more, and he is at 30 degrees lean. I'm at 18. So he's slowed more and he's leaning more. As we're coming around here, right, I'm not leaning more. He's taking lean away and I'm still adding lean, right? Actually, and this is kind of sketchy right here because I go from, what is this, 20 to 30% lean and I add 3% throttle, right, in this section, which is totally not good and totally bad and totally dicey, and I shouldn't be doing this. Whereas he is coming out of this corner, pointed in direction, he's done leaning, and look at his green lean angle, and he takes away lean, takes away, and adds throttle because he's pointing in the right direction. And I'm coming around, I go from 9% throttle to 13% throttle and add 10 degrees of lean, which is super, super not good. And this is probably how people get bit in this area. Then I'm happy, right? Now I'm taking away lean. Quite aggressively taking away lean, all the way to where's neutral? Here's neutral, all the way to neutral. But I'm taking away lean, flipping over to the other side. So from here to here, right? This area where I'm at 0 throttle. And I get back on the throttle right here at the same exact spot that he does, at the same lean angle, and at a slightly lower speed because I've had to go wide and I've had to pull it back, right? So now I've got to pull back onto his line. And because my line has to keep turning more, I'm not able to add as much throttle, or I don't feel comfortable doing it. He's actually got kind of his lean angle is much more consistent here, whereas I like take it away a little bit and then add it back. This little bump right here, probably not good. Yeah, anyway, and then we get out the corner and we start getting into the last bit. But I just think this is emblematic of what I'm doing everywhere else on the track as well. Is, yeah, look, I gain a little bit of time on him here because I'm going quicker. Great. I'm not pointing in the right direction. And because I'm going quicker and I'm not pointing in the right direction, also I'm not even leaning as much. So I'm gaining time on him. I'm not pointing in the right direction. I'm not leaning as much as I do later, and I have no throttle application. So like this time gain here is literally fake. It's like garbage, right? Because the time is gained by actively doing all the wrong things. Then by the time I'm through the corner, I'm now adding a little bit of throttle to try and get the bike around, but I'm not actually done freaking leaning. And so I can't really add any speed. So if you look at the speed here, as soon as he's got his direction, boom, now he's quicker than me. And now this, like the area between the curves where his speed is green and my speed is red, he is quicker than me all the way through this whole section, right? We can go through here. And so I got this little bit quicker than him because I was coming in faster for the entry, but it's not worth it because then I'm slower than him in all this other area. So really what I should be doing is slowing down through to this point at least, or through to where's my apex, right? Like through to here. I should be slowing down to here. Then, I mean, he's slowing down. He is rolling throttle. I guess he comes in wider, right? So there's a question of line. It's like, am I too tight? If I'm going to be that tight, should I have more lean angle? Because right here, my lean is 18 degrees versus 30. And it's like, obviously I can do 30 degrees right here. But for some freaking reason, I'm doing 30 degrees of lean way late in the corner with more gas instead of just doing it here where it's safer. And maybe I'm too tight, and maybe that's the answer. I'll have to look at some footage and see, and also compare what other people are doing. Okay, so we're just looking at the first section here, and this is what I'm thinking about. Then the last section, which is super important, is setting up for the drive out of 2. And again, you can see I'm tighter to the inside and he's wider. And so, look at this, like I start quote unquote gaining a little bit of time here, gaining a little bit of time here, and gaining time here. But just like earlier, this is like fake time gained because it's time gained by being on the inside but not having direction. And so when we come to my throttle application point in the middle here, I'm rolling on the throttle here. Oh, what's the time difference here? This is like, I'm rolling on the throttle here. Maybe this is okay. Maybe this little section is okay. I don't know. It depends. I mean, he's just going faster than me already by a good chunk, like 6 miles an hour for this whole section. So let's take it into 3, see what happens, right? So here we are, same bit. And immediately, look at that throttle graph, right? And I think this is where that last bit all plays is, yeah, I'm doing 43, he's doing 50 miles an hour. Look at how tight to the inside I am, and look at the direction my bike's pointing, right? Just like imagine that's a straight line versus his. Now, maybe he is rolling on the throttle a little early. What does the gyro look like? Because his gyro is like, he adds a bunch of lean right here while rolling on a ton of throttle. And maybe that's a bit early, right? I'm just looking at the throttle graph goes high when he goes to 30 degrees lean. But my lean, right? I'm coming along and I'm leaning, like on and off, on and off, on and off. When am I done? When am I like done? Probably like here. I probably have sufficiently good direction, right? And I'm at 40% throttle, and I'm just getting this like slow, like this is nice, and it's not even linear actually. It's like it falls off. Like the rate at which I apply throttle decreases as the bike accelerates, which is kind of funny. Like he just goes boom, nice roll on, and then boom, he's at full. And maybe that's early, maybe it's not. I don't know if he has direction and whatnot, but I'm just rolling the throttle on gradually. And so if you look at the ultimate outcome of this, which is speed, I'm doing 43, he's doing 49 by the time when we're entering this section. And this whole time he's just gaining on me. This is just speed. And then he actually rolls off. Like he rolls off way sooner than me. I'm like at my own max throttle, which is obviously a lower percentage, all the way to here. And then I kind of roll off slowly like a step function. Then I turn it off, brake. There's my little shift down, and I'm into the next corner, and I'm getting ready to brake for the corner. Whereas by the time I'm like I roll off halfway, and then I don't actually roll off here, which is the same point that he goes to zero, and I finally gain a little bit of speed on him, but compare the area under these curves, right? But what this bit does is it makes me feel rushed. And I talked about this in my summary is I feel very rushed going into the corner a little bit. And so even though we technically both hard stop the throttle at the same point, I'm going 10 miles an hour faster than him now, which means I need to brake more. And it means I need to like be very attuned with what's happening. And so there's my downshift, as we go into the corner, we can see, look how much speed I'm carrying. I've got quite a substantial speed gap on him, and I'm coming in very hot. His turning point is much earlier than mine. Mine is later. I don't know that this is so bad. Like I actually, in principle, I quite like the line this gives me out of the corner. So, we'll see. If you look at the time compare though, part of the reason he's gaining here is because he's running a tighter line. So it's just like having him go less far. What I really don't like about this section for me is the slope of my red speed curve, because from where I'm slowing down and applying the brakes to right here, and you can see it so easily on this chart right here, to right here where I'm tipping in, it's like a very constant decrease in speed. And then from here to here, the rate at which I slow increases. And this is potentially due to both engine braking and trail braking combining at the same time. But the outcome is that my slowest point of the corner is freaking 25 miles an hour, and his is only 32, even though he's running this tighter line. So this is where, and this is where I lose a crap ton of time. Like in this section here, doing 25 miles an hour in the middle of the corner. It's so slow. And also I think I don't know if it's dangerous, but it definitely jams people up. And there was one lap that I can show where the one amateur racer like ended up running off the track on this corner and going on the sides of the cones, because my drive was like, I'm going so slow in these corners that people think I'm going to go slow coming out of them and they can pass me somewhere. And then even with this mediocre throttle application, I'm still getting good speed, and I'm still doing 100 miles an hour by the time I'm coming into 3. It just, right here, it all goes to pieces. And I just feel, brake, turn the bike, turn the bike. And then I have to wait for the bike to turn around, and it doesn't feel super, I don't know what the word is. It doesn't feel like super, maybe agile, confidence inspiring, whatever it is. And I just end up waiting till I get to 25 miles an hour. And the bike feels worse at 25 miles an hour in many ways than it does at 35, right? Like if you look at the gyro, right, I'm doing 31 degrees of lean. That's my max lean here, 31 degrees. Well, at 25 miles an hour, I'm doing 31 degrees of lean. When we were right here in the connector section, where's my gyro? Red gyro. here I was doing 31 degrees of lean at 45 miles an hour. So like, I don't know. Obviously I can do this. It's the same amount of freaking lean. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's the same amount of freaking lean. So I don't know what's going on here. I mean, I do. You can kind of see it, but I just clearly need to work on it. Okay, that's turn 2, turn 3, and then look at the time compare, right? So he's gaining, right? This down here. He's gaining on me here, but partly just because he's taking a tighter line. The one benefit of taking, I think, of taking this wider line that I take is that I should be able to get a better drive out of the corner, right? I should be able to get a better drive. And yet, if we look at what happens on this hill, look at throttle percentage and speed. You can just look at it. It's obvious already. He's mid corner. He's 10 miles an hour quicker than me. The slope of the speed, we're both adding speed at relatively the same amount. I even add speed a little quicker than him, just from the start of the corner to here, because I go from 25 miles an hour to 52, and he goes from 37 miles an hour to 56, right? I'm adding speed a little quicker than he is, but I started so much lower that I'm still going slower than him. And so if we switched at this point to a time view, he's pulling away from me. And then this whole section, he's actually faster than me still. And I can't do it. And then it's only when he rolls off the throttle, which by the way is like, he's rolling out here halfway and then just doing 20% throttle down the hill. And I'm jamming the throttle, obviously I'm not even freaking touching it. I'm maxing out at 56%, but I'm holding it way longer than him. Like this whole point, I'm holding to catch up, to push. And then I'm still on it, right? I'm still at 40% coming down here with no lean, blah, blah, blah. And so, but basically this whole section, because my corner speed was so low, and what's my gyro? So my corner speed is super slow, 25. How much am I taking away lean angle? Yeah, I'm taking away lean angle. If you look, the red line is technically going down because it starts at 27 degrees of lean, comes down to 24, comes down to 18 degrees of lean here. I'm actually taking away lean angle here, whereas Dimitri is holding lean, and his throttle's 32%. It's not crazy. Maybe this is part of it too. Maybe as soon as I crack the throttle here, I take away 10 degrees of lean angle, 27 to 17. It's hard to see because the line's not that big, but I'm taking away 10 degrees of lean angle from here to here. And if I kept it, right, like my line tightens up, which is maybe why I feel like I have to take it away. But if I didn't take away 10 degrees of it, maybe I could roll on the throttle a little more, which would then push my line a little wider. I don't know. Obviously, I'm nervous about this hill a little bit, so I'm not sure if that's correct or if there's something else going wrong here. But either way, I think this first little section, it really is just from here until here or something like that. From here to here, basically. I think I'm giving up so much. Obviously, my line is tighter than it needs to be, which is funny because I feel like sometimes I'm running to the edge of the track, but on this lap at least, my line comes inside and is unnecessarily tight. Like my line is unnecessarily tight, even though I'm taking away all this lean angle and I'm not doing anything with it. Like 20% throttle, by the way, and it's only when do I feel comfortable? Like I roll it on here and then I actually roll out of the throttle a little bit here because I feel like I'm gonna go off maybe if I don't do that. Yeah, look, I roll out of the throttle and I add a little bit more lean. You see this right here? I think I'm worried about running off the grass. And I know psychologically that's happened to me a few times. Like I roll off the throttle, I'm worried about, and I add a little more lean. And then once I feel like I can see, then, okay, boom, now we go throttle again and we take away some of that lean. I wonder if I can move this here, yeah. Okay, anyway, then you get down here and basically he's, again, on a time view, he's that far ahead of me now, right? Which is just crazy because here we're kind of next to each other. We come out of the corner, I should get a really good drive here. And yet because I'm slow and I do this direction thing and I take away lean and don't roll on the throttle, I'm like standing the bike up a little bit and he's just riding the freaking corner out, pulling away from me massively and going much faster than me, right? 85 versus 80 right here. And so he's going faster than me, so he's pulling away from me. even though right here I'm at 55% throttle and he's already started to roll out. Like he's chilling, setting up for the next corner. So and that makes me more stressed, obviously. And yeah, so then we enter the bowl. Boom, here we come. And in this section, speed wise, I finally catch up to him, right? I'm going faster than him, even though mostly because he's rolled off the throttle sooner than me. So you can see my throttle percentage higher than his. His throttle goes up here. I think he's downshifting. I think that's why. So he's braking. We're doing the same speed coming into the corner. So, and again, look at the time compare. Like coming on the corner entry, I'm actually gaining time, right? I'm actually quicker than him from here to here. And of course I'm quicker than him because we just spent that whole last section talking about how he gets a way better drive out of here. And then I'm chasing and jamming the throttle way harder in this last section to make up for it. So I finally catch up to him as he's just chilling, setting up for the corner. And he's having a great time setting up. But then, as soon as we're here, right, 0% throttle, 1 to 2, whatever. It is very suspicious to me, by the way, that my throttle almost never goes completely to 0. It makes me quite worried, considering the bike fell on its right-hand side one time. Anyway, here's where it all goes to pieces, right? Because 90 miles an hour coming in here, GPS speed, no throttle, with the same amount of lean, right? Look at these. First look at the lean plot. Those two lines freaking identical, at least to here. Then I add a little more, he adds a little less, then he adds a little more, I add a little less, then I add a fair chunk more, and then we add less, whatever. Like these are very similar lean curves, but look at the speed. From here, I am braking so much harder than him. And so this, like the gap, the area between these curves is effectively distance, right? Or time. And so he's going to gain on me because I'm slowing more than him, even though by the time we get to the corner entry, we're actually both taking at the same speed, which is kind of interesting. Like from here to here, we're doing very similar speed, similar line, pretty similar lean angles. But this section where we come in, I'm slowing more than him. And I start maybe I'm trying to think about this. What does this mean? Does this mean I'm just applying the brakes harder than him? If that were the case, how come we end up at the same exact speed? Am I applying them for longer? And then right here, I just roll off the brakes before he does, and then he catches up, right? So he's braking slightly deeper than me. Maybe that's it. I don't have brake data, so I can't see for myself. Let's take a look at the time section. Right, just coming in here, we come in. But yeah, look at that. You can really see really easily just looking at the dots right there. That's how it looks. So we come in, I'm gaining in this little section where I'm going faster and have more throttle. Then this is probably like the halfway point. Then I'm braking significantly harder than he is. And he's just coming way through. And by the time we get here, oh, he actually slows a little more than me. Interesting. So I carry more speed through this last little section chasing and less here. I don't really know how to think about this, but obviously he's gaining from being behind me halfway down the hill to ahead of me on corner entry. There's some time gap there, some time gain. Yeah, I'm not sure. Then real stinker. Look at these different lines, right? See how he goes wider than me coming out of the bowl, and I stick tight, and then I stick tight, and then I stick tight. Well, going wider, he's way more aggressive on the throttle. He actually hits 100% throttle right here, pushing up the hill. I do 35%. Maybe there's some ECU stuff, or obviously we have different displacement bikes and stuff. The speed gap is 5 miles an hour, but I'm again kind of reminds me a little bit of the turn 2, where I have this tighter line and I just don't have direction, and so I'm hesitant to roll on the throttle, whereas he goes a little wider and then it maybe is more able to roll on the throttle. In terms of lean, I'm actually leaning more than him at this point because I'm trying to complete the turn, and then I lean. I'm doing like 55 degrees of lean here. I'm dragging my knee actually. Obviously, it's not actually 55 degrees of lean because there's a big embankment on this hill, or whatever you call it. But here I am, leaning my heart out, scraping knee, 30% throttle, 44 miles an hour. Yeah, and coming out of here. If I put it on the time view, kind of interesting. Let's see. Because I think there's See, like that's I think it's interesting to me because he passed me in the race, and I'll show it right here. Let me pull it up. This is the lap. This is the exact lap, by the way. This is my lap. Sorry, not the one that he passed me. Right, boom. I'm braking here. Brake, 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 and then I'm off the apex, and I'm really waiting to point around pretty far, and then I'm rolling on. I go pretty wide, but not that wide. So in the rookie race when we were together, he passed me right here, and so that's the thing that I was just talking about with turn three mid corner speed, and then the drive up the hill and the throttle application and the direction. He passed me here, and then he passed me in round 1 on the brakes going into 6, where he was quicker again in this last section. But after he passed me, I was able to keep up with him, and it's kind of interesting because if you look on the time view, yeah, I'm actually just as quick as him through this section. Okay, well, that's the bowl exit. Once you get to the downhill section, we have, how do we look? Time compare, looks like he's gaining a lot on me throughout this whole section. I'm just looking here, right? So how does it look if we do the time compare and just put them side by side? He's gaining on me. Come through here, and then I bet this is where, yeah, look at that gain right there. Okay, so coming into 9, I'm tighter, he's wider. It's not a huge delta, but then here, his line already at this point in the corner is going to let him have much better direction coming out of 10, whereas I've still got to complete my turn. Where's the gyro? Gyro, yeah, look at this. So he's done turning with 9. He's upright right now. His bike is vertical, gyro 0 degrees. I'm still leaning 10 degrees to the left. I don't start leaning to the right till here. He's already doing 25 degrees to the right. So I'm now upright. He's max lean. He's actually max lean. This is the max that he leans to the right, 25 degrees. I'm upright. Now I complete the corner, and this is how it feels to me mentally, is I'm like very late on this corner, and he's going to 100% throttle, and I'm just hitting max lean, right? Because I'm behind him. And if I make them distance, right? So they're the same. We'll come through and we'll look at it again. So coming into 9 on distance, boom, 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 boom. Look at this. He's leaning here. His line is different, which is why I think the distance one is maybe not as helpful. Oh, it looks like he gets a little downshift here. Interesting. I don't think I'm downshifting there. Oh no, it's not a downshift. He's just rolling on the little maintenance throttle, just like I'm doing, except his is short and sharp and mine is longer. And then here, look at this. The gyro, this line is really hard to see, but there's a faint gray line here. He's leaning 10 degrees to the right. I'm leaning 10 degrees to the left at the same point in the corner. The same point in the corner. I'm still coming round. I've only just rolled off the throttle. He's done that already. And we have a 20 degree difference in lean angles, but mine's to the left and his is to the right. So I get to the right now, right? The wall is probably like right here where my cursor is. I get to the right. He's already nearly at max lean. Coming out the curve, he gives it a little bit of throttle blip through here. I'm no throttle whatsoever. And we were carrying basically the same corner speed, by the way, right? Like this is a functionally equivalent, I think, right? 55. I'm going 2 miles an hour faster than him here. He's going 2 miles faster than me. He's going 2 miles an hour faster than me here because he blipped on the throttle a little harder, and I was late carrying the throttle. Okay, so but yeah, basically very similar speeds. However, by the time we get to the apex, the wall thing, right where our lines cross, and it makes sense they cross because I have to go wider because I'm turning late and running wide over here. By the time our lines cross, he is now, boom, rolling on the throttle, and I'm doing it really slowly. And this section right here where I'm rolling on the throttle, I'm actually maintaining constant lean, like, well, 25 degrees to 22 degrees, right? So I take away 3 to 5 degrees of lean, and that's it. Whereas he's already at 12 degrees. Like at 12 degrees lean, you can basically just go full throttle, and he is. Whereas I'm still leaned over. And then finally here, I've got the bike upright. We both got the bike upright, but now I'm rolling on the throttle. But look how late this is, right? And so, like, of course, this whole section, he's getting 57 versus 63, 47 versus 54. I mean, he's 5 or more miles an hour faster than me coming out of this corner. And I think a huge reason for it is because, like, my line here, if I'm going to take this tighter line, I have to lean more or be better with my throttle. So like if I had rolled off the throttle right here on my line where he did, and I started to here, right? You can see I kind of rolled it on and then I decided to keep it a little bit, right? But if I just rolled it off here, my line would have tightened too and would have looked much more like his, coming much closer to the left curb. Then I could have chucked the bike over to the right here, because I would be where his green dot is, instead of doing this extended throttle move. Then coming out of here, I'd have had a more open line coming out of 10 and could have been more aggressive with the throttle instead of this like very anemic late roll on that I do. And it's so funny because just like all the other corners, late rolling on the throttle, I don't have great direction, and then I'm holding it longer than him to try and catch up to people, right? He's fucking four seconds quicker than me, but I'm holding the throttle longer to try and catch up. But you know, it's like a 50% throttle held longer instead of just doing it properly. Lean angles are about the same, and then I only beat him on top speed for this last little section. But it doesn't matter that I'm just touching 77 now, because he was running 5 to 10 miles an hour quicker than me this whole way out of the corner, which is exactly where Mackenzie passed me like 2 races in a row on his 400. And this is exactly how, because a 400 can go 55 miles an hour. 400 can go 70 miles an hour. You don't need a big bike to go that fast. You just need to do this corner right, get your direction, and then come out of here and drive. And I'm not really, I'm slowly driving, but I'm not really, right? Like this is a slow roll on to 25% throttle. Here I roll on a little quicker, but not really. And I stop at 50, but I'm not really driving until here in the corner, which is like, you know, where's that? That's throttle. It's like there. No, it's there where the slope changes a little bit, right? I'm old, and of course I am, because I'm wide. Like my line was pointing over the grass, and the reason I'm wide here is because I was wide here, and the reason I'm wide here is because I extended my throttle input, I think. Okay, and then we get to the very last sector, my most awful sector, and look at the GPS speed, red line. Wow, great, look at this. I'm going quicker than Demetrio. I'm so speedy. I managed to get a whopping 75 miles an hour going in here. Then immediately, because I'm chasing people and I'm flustered, we're slamming on the brakes and getting that downshift. And so I slow. Look at this. I immediately drop 5 miles an hour slower than him again. Slowing. And even though I'm going slower, like, look at this. Look at these lines. I'm going slower, but here, I'll show it on time view, just so we see first time. Look at this. I go so much wider there, then tighter here, and then wide here, and I don't have direction, and I'm just so far behind, right? Look at this speed gap. He's doing 65 freaking miles an hour. I'm doing 40 stuck in the corner. Like he's gone. He's completely gone. I don't get full throttle coming out of this thing till here, and then he's already gone, right? If we put it on distance view, so we keep ourselves at the same distance, same point in time, and just look at how much time he's gaining. Yeah, great. I gain like, you know, a tenth of a second on him here because I'm going slightly quicker, and then just all of it goes brake, going really slow here. And this whole section I'm doing 5 miles an hour slower than him, which is from tip-in point to coming back on yourself around this corner. However, like because of the spillover effect of that last corner, my line is tighter. Like I'm actually noticeably to the left, right? Because I was running wide out of here, whereas he was able to get back across to mid-track. And so maybe I do have to slow, or feel like I have to slow because my line's tighter. In actuality, I'm going from here on. Yeah, he's running more lean than me tipping in, and I'm just upright because my line, I can't run lean because I'm tight to the grass here, so I can't lean left. Then we're running basically the same amount of lean through here, except, except right here, what is going on? Like, why do I stand the bike up right here? Is this where I downshift? Is that throttle application that I do there a downshift right here? Or is this this looks more like an intentional blip? I think this is a downshift. This spike here, it's very sharp, very predictable. I'm sort of rolling. I'm doing a throttle roll on because I'm fucking 5 miles an hour slow, and I feel like I have to go quicker. But then I'm taking away lean angle too, right? 5 degrees of lean here. Demetrio's we're at the same point. He has leaned over 25 degrees. I've got 5 degrees of lean. And then I roll the throttle on to 5% and add 20 degrees of lean. Like, what the frick? I mean, he's kind of doing the same thing briefly here too. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's very bad. And then right here, where are we? Right here, coming out of this corner, we're going the same speed. Okay, so what I'm doing is I think I'm straightening out the corner, right? As in I'm giving it gas coming out of the corner. I am giving it gas coming out of the corner, except I'm not really out yet. Like, I don't really have direction. What is it? Where do I start rolling the gas on? I'm not really out yet. And I just fucking randomly stood the bike up here instead of continuing to turn around the corner. So this then just sends me way wide here. And coming out of this is, what is this? This is 11A? Something like that. Coming out of this left-hander, I match his speed. We're both doing, even though I was going slower all into the corner because I grabbed the throttle for much longer than him. I get back up to 38 miles an hour, and then I'm wide. I have to turn more sharply to the right than he does, and I slow to 29 miles an hour to do it, right? So I slow to 29 to do this, and this is where I got stuffed twice in a row on that last race by the amateurs. They just kept coming up my inside doing, yeah, look, I lean at 20 degrees too. I'm not even leaning the bike. I lean at 25 degrees here. So I get past the corner, and then I lean, and then leaning to the left, I lean, what is that? 40 degrees. Okay, so actually I do a fair amount of lean on the left coming out. So it's not the 12. It's not the left-hander that is the real problem for me. It's the right-hander. And the right-hander is the problem because of this standing the bike up, this standing the bike up right here where my mouse is, this overly long throttle application when I don't have direction, which then sends me wide here, too tight to the curb here. And then if I'm going to do all that, I've got to be leaning more than 20 degrees here, but I can't because I'm so close to the curb. Maybe that's it. And if I'm going to do all that, I've got to be leaning more than 30 degrees here, and I've got to be going more than 29 miles an hour. And so it's like everything's going bad here. And so next session, I should focus on not standing the bike up at this point in the corner and not rolling the throttle on as long coming out here to try and pull my bike a little more to the left, or to the, what counts as inside or outside? I guess this is technically the inside of the track, outside of this part of the curve. Pull my bike more over here towards his green dot so that I can do this right hand turn easier, like an earlier. Look, when even just on a distance point of view, he's adding, what is his gyro? He's standing the bike up from this point, and I'm also standing the bike up, but he's able to stand it and flip it over to the other side much quicker than I am, whereas I do it really slowly. Like, look at this lean angle. I'm standing the bike up and flipping it over really slowly because I'm going slow and because I'm close to the grass on the right. And if I get this fixed, I can be doing, look at that, 10 miles an hour different. 29 versus 39. I should be doing 39 miles an hour or something through here, through this right. And he actually, like, his slowest point in the corner here is 30, right? And for him, the green speed right here, the green speed is lowest, 39, 40, and he's gone. 41, the green speed 36 right here. And what's his, so his speed is lowest on the right hander, and then gives it this blip of throttle to stand the bike up, to get the bike over to the right. Zero throttle, rolling through the corner now, taking away all of his lean, and then as soon as he's taken it away, boom, he's back on it, and his throttle's up here. And we actually are adding throttle at the same point in the corner, but I'm just doing it slowly, and I don't have direction, and I'm not pointing the right way. And so, yeah, if we look at it on a time basis, I mean, he's gone. Okay, and that is 4 seconds, right? And if you, like, think about it, okay, well, what did we really talk about? So much to talk about, actually. Okay, what we really talked about was turn 1 here, carrying more speed through this section, right, from here, which was partially a function of having the right line. Actually, everything we talked about, I was just pausing next. Everything we talked about is very similar, which is I overslow and take tight. I slow and I take tight lines into corners, and then I don't lean. So I'm going too slow, not leaning much, and very tight. Whereas he's coming in wider, going a little quicker, and sometimes he's leaning the same as me, sometimes, and not usually that much more. But it's just, but he doesn't have to because he's wider. Anyway, that was the case for all of this section, really. coming out of here, again, I was tight and then didn't have direction and then was slow on the throttle, jamming the throttle on, keeping it open longer than him, and then look at the shape of this. Look at the shape of this curve. I go slower, progressively, all the way deep. I like that my line out of here. I don't know. I lose. I'm not going. I'm not sure. I still need to work out because the line felt nice. I don't know why I don't run it wide. Like I don't use all the track. I'm just already coming in. Bowl entry, I lose a ton of time on. I brake harder and longer than him, and then he gets me there. Bowl exit, I'm actually about the same as him. Downhill, my line here, if I'm going to be tight on the inside into 9, I have to be better with the throttle, and I can't do these longer applications because then my line doesn't tighten, which then screws me for 10. Don't get a drive out of 10. And then same story coming in right here is this longer throttle application that I do right here, this little bit right here, and I'm not leaning. I stand the bike up, give it a little throttle, and then I'm screwed from then on. So those are my thoughts. I don't know. Having data is cool. I'm not fast. I'm not quick, but this just gives me a little more to think about between rounds at NEMRR. So yeah, hopefully I can go quicker next round. And a big thanks to Dimitro for sharing his data with me and helping me figure out all this software.